that's no longer done that way, so we can actually create wrappers that can happen online with this. A work-study program, a travel abroad opportunity, and I want you to open up your mind because there's companies that we can actually partner with to do these sorts of things to make them happen. Or maybe it's a presentation, and you'll probably see one of the polls coming in asking if you've used some of the information where you can go ahead and put these types of things like Storify. Even LinkedIn has added media uploads so that you can go ahead and create a portfolio. There's Behance. There's all these different places where you can actually go in for free and create wrappers. And I wanted to give a little experience of what I had in the workplace at 3M. When I was there, I ran the testing labs for the two largest divisions of 3M for many, many years. And 3M had this program that worked with area science teachers, and their wrapper was to come for the summer and work in the 3M laboratory. So I always had 2 to 3 teachers working in my laboratories over the summer. Well, one summer I had this really delightful lady, and they had done this innovative program where they were trying to teach K through 6 science with a science teacher. And so she was working in my lab, and she's working in the back there, and all of a sudden I hear this yelling and screaming going on, and I run back there because, frankly, I thought she'd blown something up. and so she's screaming, and finally, I understand. She had set up a roto-evaporator, which needed to create a vacuum by having running water, and she had something like that in the lab for the kids to run, and she never understood the concept before. And so this was the first time that she understood the concept, and it finally dawned on her after years and years of study, that's what it was. And if she had not had that experience, to this day, she'd probably be still teaching that laboratory wrong to the children. So there's all sorts of ways that you can use wrappers for success. So how to implement a wrapper program? Really, the first thing you need to do is to really take a look at conceptualizing. So if you take a look at, in the downloadable files, there's a little storyboard that we created for you. And storyboards are really great. And if you're experienced with kids and you know that they have like cartoons or even the mangas that are really popular with the teenagers today and are really popular with the Asian folks, they're really kind of storyboard types of applications. So on the left side, you typically have some place where you draw something, you know, and even if it's stick figures, go ahead and take a look at that and draw a stick figure. And then on the right, you put like a little dialogue of what was going to happen there. Maybe it's you talking to a student and finding out that they need to have something to go on a job interview. Maybe it's them saying that they'd really like to see some place where something happened in history or something along those lines, whatever your story would be. So once you have it conceptualized, you can go ahead and do your research and find out where other people have done that, or even benchmark beforehand and get those ideas on the web beforehand about what you want to do as a wrapper. There's a lot of good information out there from other universities and other colleges about what goes on there. So once you have that done, you can go ahead and really put down the key aspects that you need for the program and really take a look at how you can start implementing. And of course here you'll have to put it through your chair, you'll have to get it blessed by the course designers and things like that. So really having a little bit of a plan to submit is really good, or a storyboard for people to talk through to look at that is very, very helpful. Then the next thing to do is to really go in and see what kinds of tests you can do to see whether or not it's going to work well in the classroom. And maybe you take one cohort and you try it out and you see if the students like it. And then the final thing you always do is you always get the student feedback, so you can go ahead and say, yeah, that worked really well, and then you revisit, maybe revamp, reboot, try something new. It's not something that you have to keep constant, and it's something that's totally always evolving because the opportunities are always evolving. So the value in today's society is really for our students, because there's some really surprising statistics out there, and I actually did these for the first time when I came in and started looking at the Forbes opportunity. And what was really surprising to me is that we really are in a change mode in the U.S., in particular, where 63% of all executives in the next 5 years, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, is actually going to be retiring, or at least eligible to retire. And Generation X itself isn't even big enough to fill those holes. So now we have all these millennials that are ready to go, or maybe they are, maybe they're not. Only 19% of them right now have degrees, the millennials. But what's surprising is 25% of them don't have jobs, and 25% of them already have manager's titles. So where are they getting their expertise, and how do they show the expertise when they do get a college degree that they're ready to be able to implement the programs and run the managerial types of things they're going to be called upon in the next 5 years? So one of the other surprising stats is a LinkedIn analysis of the average company tenure, which is really, really interesting in the sense that, you know, the baby boomers, which I'm a part of, is, you know, our average tenure at a company now is 7 years. Generation Xers 5 years, but the average millennial is only staying at a given job for 2 years. So if we have working adult students, like most of our students are at Ashford, that as they go through their degree, they're likely to have at least one job change while they're going to school if they're a millennial. So they're going to need to have a portfolio of something that not only shows their work history, but what they learned at school that's going to help them get that next post. So you're a faculty member, you're trying to figure out, well, why would I even do this? It's a lot of work, maybe it's a lot of fun, but why would we want to do that? And I think that one of the things that's really good about rappers and doing these sorts of things, and what I learned from being involved with them, is that you're really, once you've created one or two of these, your creative juices really start moving forward, and you're really seen as a top innovator when you start looking at these new things, because guess what? You are now creating your own portfolio to show people of what you've done.
And if you'll permit me, I want to jump in here for a minute. This is Dr. Williams again, and just highlight our fabulous faculty in the Forbes School of Business. They really took on the opportunity to shine in the context of a rapper initiative that Christa and Tessa from marketing created in Mentor Week. And in particular, I just want to give a shout out to Andrew Swanson, Marcus Creighton, Sean Milligan, Paula Zabish, Marcus Spiegel, Alan Swank, Diane Hamilton, Bill Davis, Marat Abel, Travis Bradbury, and Karen Ivey. They all just did a fantastic job in putting together those videos, and I'll invite all of you to go onto Facebook and scroll down. It was a little bit earlier in the year, but you'll find it, and there are numerous videos there that pertain to Mentor Week, and invite you to encourage your students to take a look at those videos, because they're not just business specific. They're about putting your best foot forward and engaging in the kinds of behaviors that are going to help you get the job that you're looking for and move ahead to the next stage in your career. There are, of course, some additional benefits to faculty. You're not only showcasing yourself as an innovator and putting together a portfolio of your own opportunities for helping students improve, but you're also engaging in cutting-edge program development. You're obviously finding ways to help our students be more engaged and invested in the work that they're doing, and seeing the ability to be able to apply their learning to something that they can use in the workplace. Most of our students are very practical. We're hoping that through using these kinds of initiatives that we're improving our Net Promoter Score, and faculty members and their behaviors, especially timeliness of feedback and substantive feedback to students, are part of that NPS score that students are rating us on. And then, of course, it's creating a portfolio that pertains to your work in curriculum development as a faculty member. This next slide shares a little bit more about the way in which rappers create differentiation. And you can see from the slide here that It's about creating employees that are going to be more innovative with fresh, current insights. They can help their new bosses, their new careers, their new institutions achieve better results. It's also creating candidates that can articulate their story in a thoughtful and creative way. And then finally, we're showcasing original thinking. So these are all some of the ways in which our students as employees can make use of the work that they're engaged in related to wrappers in the context of real-world job situations.
So let's take a look now. We wanted to give you a little bit of a challenge here. And we wanted to take some questions, and we wanted to give you the wrapper challenge. So we want you to download that wrapper storyboard document, and we want you to look it over and think about what can you create. And we want you to take 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be right now. It can be in after the talk, and really brainstorm a wrapper for one of your current courses or one of your current programs or for a degree program. And if you need the time to go in, but I would really highly encourage you to actually go in and draw on the left-hand side. And maybe it's that you're doing stick figures, and that's fine, or putting in a big question mark, or putting in a problem word on the left-hand side and then explaining it on the right-hand side. But I'd always encourage you at the end to put the smiling face of your student at the end because they're so pleased, or them talking to an employer if that's the point, or them going to see a cathedral in Germany or whatever the wrapper might be, where you go ahead and do that, because once you have your storyboard put together, you can see the way to move that forward. And I know that the last poll that we had put together was along the lines of something that Dr. Williams had an ask for about will you share this idea with your chair?
Yes, I would actively encourage all of you not only to do as Christa suggests and really engage in the activity we're bringing to you, but if you really think you have a good idea, bring it to your program chair. And in the context of program review and revisions to our existing programs, which we're doing every 3 to 5 years, we can implement your idea. And that would be fabulous to see coming out of this presentation.
And just one final thing, that if you want a quick and easy way to see the Mentor Week information, all you have to do is Google Storify Forbes Mentor Week, and it's all right there. And you can see where we've put it in the storyboard type of presentation on Storify. So you'll get how we went in and made it as the final wrapper presentation.
I'm looking now at the chat, and I see a question from Lisa Johnson about looking at Forbes School of Business courses that they can recommend for viewing for models. I'm going to take that question offline and confer with the deans and Christa before I respond. But we could post that in, I understand that later there'll be an opportunity for people to engage with our presentations in an asynchronous manner. And so I think I'll take that one offline and respond later when I gather more input from my colleagues about which courses they might want to highlight in that way. That's a great question, Lisa. Thank you.
Dr. Williams, this is Jill. I just wanted to also add, if they have specific questions like that, they can also throw them into the survey, which you guys then would receive and could be connected. I think Bill Davis also shared that they've done something in Management 330. So Bill and Dr. Ivy would also be a great resource.
Yeah, I'm just noticing his chat there right now. Any other questions or thoughts that folks have for us before we wrap up? We still have a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're whispering among ourselves here that we didn't do the polls. We need to do our polls, sorry.
Oh, was I supposed to not? But anyways, one of the things that when you take a look at the polls, and if you haven't used any of them on the first poll, Like, have you ever used a portfolio program like Behance or Storify or any of those? I really highly encourage you to go and look at those, because a lot of them are also tied into LinkedIn now, where you can link them through up into your own portfolio. So that's something that we can always encourage students to do, is to take their final wrapper, upload it on one of these programs, and then they can highlight it in their online resume.
So we're seeing the poll results come in, and it looks like the majority have used portfolio programs and tools like SlideShare, LinkedIn, Behance, and Storify in the context of their teaching. But for those of you who haven't, I'll urge you to reach out to your colleagues, find out who has, so that they can give you some tips and some help with being a little bit more bold.
So the next poll.
And it looks like Bill Davis is sharing a little preview about his presentation with Karen Ivey on bridging the gap between theory and practice, and they're going to share some of the things that they did in their courses. So there's an opportunity for you, Lisa. You can hear from Bill and Karen, and it sounds like Lisa's going to encourage you, Bill and Karen, to publish to the CEDL in the design lab so that other folks can take a look at what you've done. So the majority have not engaged in a wrapper-type program.
Well, this gives you the benefit of going in there and creating one and looking at what your competitors are doing, or even your colleagues across the nation, what they're doing. You don't have to necessarily look at them as competitors. You can look at them as colleagues and how they did it.
But you'll want to do it a little bit better. So everybody's going to share with their chair. That's awesome. Anybody willing to share in the chat about their potential wrapper ideas?
Multiple attendees are typing.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Coming soon. This has been such a pleasure to be able to make this presentation and to share with you about this. Linda Loring says, I create wrappers based on the best comments by star postings. That's fantastic. So not only engaging students, but highlighting the good work of the best of them to serve as models for each other. That's fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think that we appreciate having all of your attention. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. This is Christa, and I'd be happy to work with anyone if they have any concept ideas or if they want to storyboard something and don't understand that process. I'll be happy to walk them through them.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, guys. Again, we want to thank Dr. Williams and Christa for their presentation, as well as all of our participants. The presentation will be available for viewing in the CEDL soon. We will send out an email when the live sessions are available. Don't forget to go to the TLC app and rate the session. There's also a link at the bottom of the Adobe room right now for a quick end of session survey, so please jump in there if you can. There's also going to be an end of course survey provided for more in-depth feedback about our whole conference. Thank you again for everybody attending, and Dr. Williams and Christa, wonderful presentation, and we love the idea of expanding and working more with our faculty to help our students. Thanks so much.